B2B CEOs, how do you evaluate your marketing agencies, your vendors? How do you make sure that they're doing a good job? I want to show you how we do this as fractional leaders for different companies. How do we evaluate all the different vendors to see if they're doing a good job and pinpoint the problems so you could use the same thing yourself? This is really common in a company that's trying to break out of referrals. So if you use referrals and now you want to stop relying on them so much and be able to take control of your pipeline growth, this is very common. So here's how you evaluate it. And I'm just going to break it down for you. I've hidden the guilty parties involved. And this is a case where I came in as a fractional CRO, and this is just the process of evaluating all these vendors. So the first thing I want to highlight is that this should read channel actually, but the channel is not the same thing as the play. You can run different kinds of marketing on a channel, right? For example, you can use the phone to call previous customers or to call cold, right? That's two different ways to use the phone, right? So the channel is not the same. And so I'm just going to look at each one and how do we go through it. So the first one, I'll give you some color on each one. So the first one was outbound. So these are outbound dialers, outbound SDR team. Now, SDR is like the first sales job for many people. It's hard too. It is a hard job, and it's hard to hire for. And it's hard to keep people because people do churn. Not everyone's cut out for it. So it's hard in that sense because there's a joke internally, for a lot of sales companies, hey, when you need an SDR, hire 3 because you're only going to keep 1. So it is a high churn job because it's tough. And so, okay, so these guys, they added an outbound agency, and the play they're using is called omni-channel calling. What it means is, you send an email, maybe you connect on LinkedIn, and now you have an excuse to call. You say, hey, I just following up on that email I sent you. So that's a common play, and as long as it's relevant, it can work very well. But here's the thing. To have a good outsourced calling agency, they have to have a really excellent performance culture where everyone is training, there's high expectations, there's high measurement, high accountability. That's what you're looking for in an outbound team because it's super human resources intensive. You need to train people from zero to be good over and over and over again. So they have to be great at training. You can kind of sniff this out at the beginning. If it doesn't seem like super professional, this is a big red flag. So let's look at this one, right? Okay, so this is an outbound calling team charging $10K a month. It's pretty normal. Put 3 SDRs on the case. And it's been 6 weeks and we had 6 bookings and 2 shows. Now, that's bad. That's bad because if you look at what you're spending, if we do it by the 6 weeks, this is almost $7,000 per showed call. That's insane. This is acceptable if you're only going after Fortune 10, Fortune 50 companies. You know who you are if you're but the rest, most businesses cannot accept this. This is totally horrible. And because outbound calling is really effort in, effort out. You make the dials, you get the connects, you book the calls. So it's really effort in, effort out. Depends on having a good leads list and so forth. But this is not good. So this is already enough data to say, you should cut this team. This team is not good. If you want to keep the play, you need to find another company, maybe pay more for the company, or you do it internally. When you look at this price, it's maybe you want to do it internally. It does take some effort, but SDRs is a great thing to have internally because of the continuous training requirement and because they have to know something about your company. They can get better and better at doing the job for your company. Okay, so this one, the recommendation I made is, let's give them 2 weeks, and then if we don't massively change this in 2 weeks, because with cold calling, you can't massively change the volume. And we gave the company we paid a nice bill. So we should be able to get them to push harder. And if they can't do it right away, because this is so responsive to effort, then they're never going to be able to do it. It's just cut your losses. Now, the next one is meta ads. This has been going on for 6 weeks for this case. And the actual ads are kind of simple. They are what we would call pain agitate solution. They're just ads, they're ads for a specific offer. They go to a website and ask you to book a call. So this works in 2026 and nothing necessarily wrong with it. Of course, every play can be better or worse, but when I look at this, I think this is weird. The ad spend for this guy is low. For 6 weeks, they should have spent $7,000 already. So when you're doing, and it was prepaid, so that's why the current cost per lead is so high. Yeah, when you're doing meta ads or any ads platform, it can take some time to unlock the funnel. You have to gather some data, do some optimization. It might not be great at first, and it's okay to give vendors time to solve that. But it's not just time, they need money. You have to spend money to get data, and you're basically buying data with your ad spend. And when we look at the cost to book a call on Meta for B2B, it should be around like 250 to 500. If you're going like upper mid-market, it's going to be higher, like 500 or so per book call. And really, the metric, which is the absolute best metric to compare all these different channels with, is the cost per qualified book show. Like, how much money did you have to spend to get your sales team on the phone or in video, in Zoom, in whatever, with a prospect that's the right kind of person? You can do that across all the channels, and that's ultimately what we're looking at. Then the rest of it is sales skills. Okay, so for this one, the red flag is like, why aren't we spending enough money? Like, you'll never solve it. At this speed, it'll take a century to figure out the funnel. I'm joking, but you get the point. So for this one, it's like we have to like, was it a project management issue? Did somebody drop the ball? Did something happen? Like, what happened here? So this is what I need to find out for this case. Okay, let's look at the next one. So we're also doing LinkedIn ads. Now, these LinkedIn ads are content to a digital download. And we spent quite a bit. And the cost per lead is pretty reasonable. So on Meta, it would probably be about half of this. On LinkedIn, this is acceptable, $200 leads, that's LinkedIn. And so there's nothing wrong with that. The question is, why isn't there any shows? And so in this case, this could be a problem on the client side. Like, what is the sales process? What happened with, did we call them? And for all of these, you can very quickly estimate the cost of customer acquisition, which would be even better than cost per show. So let's just talk about that really quick. So for Meta ads, let's talk about Meta. For Meta ads, if you're going to advertise an actual offer, like, do you want to buy this thing? And that's why you're booking the call, is because of an offer. Let's say that it costs you $500 a book call. Okay, and let's say you have an 80% show rate. Okay. And then let's say you have a 20% close rate. So we divide by 0.2. That would give you CAC, gives you $2,000 here. And who knows what it actually is going to be. Typically, these book a call funnels are going to have a cost of customer acquisition somewhere between 1.5K and like 6K. That's typically what they are. It could be higher if you're selling something rarer and more expensive, but this client, their offers are 25K to in the millions. So this is completely fine. Okay, so that you could do here is very easy to figure out for Outbound. Now for LinkedIn, I just want to point this out. This isn't a LinkedIn specific issue, but it's about the play. So if you're doing a digital download, that doesn't mean, if somebody gets a download, that doesn't mean they want to buy anything, right? If we say like, if you look, everything could be a funnel for a marketer, I suppose. So here's our funnel. But you could look at this as different, like it's like a temperature thermometer, very hot's down here, right? So at the bottom, these are actual offers. So if you're advertising an offer, this is going to have like a 20% close rate on this offer if it's reasonable. Excuse me. Now, if you're going to do a download, you might not want this. You might not want to buy anything this year. So way at the top of the funnel, and we're looking at like 2% of the people are going to close because they just wanted information. So 1 or 2% of the people are going to close. So we could already get the CAC for this download, because here on LinkedIn, we're just doing like a gated content thing. So if we said it's like 182, and let's ignore show rate just to make this simple. And let's say that it's 2%. Well, that's going to be half of 18K. So it's like 9K. So this would be a 9K cost of customer acquisition. So you can already see like this could work. And where we would focus internally is, okay, what's up with the sales team? All right. Hopefully this is making sense. This is how you can look at these different areas. All right. So LinkedIn, we talked about. Okay. And then in this particular case, I'm going to look at their warm and cold email sequences in the future. But this is how you ultimately can compare all these things. You need to get down into all the details. Eventually, you need a cost per show for everybody. And then you can have an estimated CAC for each channel. And then once one is working, you put all your attention into it. This particular company, they're new to getting their digital marketing going, so they're trying everything. But once you have something that really works, you want to just focus on the thing that's performing the best. All right, so hopefully this is helpful. And if you want help applying this framework as you're scaling your business this year, or you want somebody to come in and help you just install a channel that knows what they're doing and can help you get it performing so you can stop relying on referrals, I'd love to help you. Just click the link below and get in touch. Cheers.